Hey guys, it's time for another episode of the Brainstorm Podcast. This is the third part of our April 17th recording session. After far too many drinks and getting super tired, we finally started having some slightly deeper conversations. We went all over the place, from sex and gender to pedophilia and punishment to parenting. It was a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. This is episode number 29, recorded on April 17th, 2015. I'm Corey, and in this episode, I'm joined by Destin, Renee, Dave, and Raz.
We can say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Amen, brother.
Well, you know me, I don't buy into BS.
I get paid to sign.
I don't fit into human nature.
Do not come here, not come marry here.
What the hell was my point?
Welcome to Brainstorm, the home of hardcore skepticism. Woo-free since 2013. These skeptical atheists started a podcast to help spread critical thinking, skepticism, and some philosophic and scientific literacy. Host Corey is joined by Lana, Destin, Raz, Mike, Rennie, and Dave as they discuss news, politics, science, philosophy, and religion in a fun and intelligent way. And now it's time to open your mind to the Brainstorm.
I actually was having a conversation with the kids this morning. I
About your porn
no,
collection?
no, but about
Bad
sex. Because this book that I'm listening to, this
50 Shades of Grey.
Sex and God by Daryl Ray, it's opening my eyes a lot to some of the shame-based behavior that surrounds sex.
This book I'm listening to.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that's normal now.
Called an
dude.
audiobook. Get with the program, Gumby.
Do you have an internet, bro? I was watching.
I don't think he does.
I was watching this audio movie.
Okay, but anyway, the sexuality stuff.
Yeah, and so I was trying to talk to the kids a little bit, and I asked Selah, she's only turning 9. I asked her, "Are you ready for a conversation about sex?" And she says, "No, I'm not ready." So, okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, she might have been thinking, ew, Dad, gross.
Yeah, maybe.
I have the internet. I know everything. Do you
Cyric
want to have a talk about sex?
Cyric has actually taken this stuff in health in school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to him a bit about it, and I asked him if he knew what rape was, and I asked him if he knew what, what he knew about sex and sexual reproduction and how much in depth they went into. Like, it was like, I don't know, easy to talk to them about.
You actually talked about it. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
Dad.
No, there was no you, Dad. It was actually a really easy conversation.
I remember the first
He's
time.
also a smart kid.
He is a very smart kid.
There was one time I was really mad at my sister when I was around his age. I was young, and I called her a hooker or something. And I had no idea what that actually meant. Mm-hmm. And, rather than actually talk to me about this, my parents just gave me shit.
Oh,
and didn't say anything. Like, I had no idea what I was even implying or anything.
Yeah, she wasn't charging anybody, man.
She wasn't. Yeah, I asked for that. But yeah, no, like, I mean, so then you have this kid who's got no freaking idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And rather than, like, try to, like, let me know why I did what I did was wrong, it's just
right.
like, and I hate that mentality. I think there's this mentality, and this is got some religious backing for its roots of the idea that it's just wrong because I said so.
Yep.
That
Absolutely.
there's just things that are wrong because I said so.
And things to do
nothing.
with sex are just bad.
Yeah.
Anything to do with sex is shameful, and you do not talk about it.
Which is stupid because it's really like pizza.
No kidding.
You can't order it. It's true.
And even when it's bad, it's still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just don't go for the 2-for-1.
Well, that sounds like a good deal.
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends.
I have a coupon.
You got to say that over the phone when you order, though.
You got to tell them first.
Is there, like, could you imagine if there actually was a 2-for-1 like service? Like that would,
That would be the service.
I mean,
really poor.
Yeah, or really poor. That's right.
And if they brought pizza.
Holy shit, this is a business idea. As long as it's for a charitable event.
Yeah. No, they're prostitutes.
Oh, yeah, it's different.
They're not strippers.
Yeah.
There's less
I
laws
made this
against
joke because someone brought back a bunch of newspapers from LA, and they had ads and they had coupons for the strip clubs, and I'm like going, my God, that must just suck.
Yeah.
I would have left that. I have a coupon.
Yeah, exactly.
And a 2-for-1 coupon.
She checks, is this expired?
I like how you
Sorry, man,
pulled out
this
that
was last
accent for that
month's
joke.
coupon. What? No.
Not valid with any other promotions or offers.
There's an extreme couponing that won't make it there.
Oh, no.
No, that's right.
Maybe on Showcase or
Maybe
something.
on Showcase.
Yeah.
Not valid on Wet Wednesday.
Or holidays.
Or holidays.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's meant.
Yeah, but no, but I appreciate the conversation about the shame-based sexual stuff. I think we've really failed as a society in some ways.
For sure.
And we're just like trying so hard now to reverse those effects. Like I think it's good. We need more of these discussions and more like just upfrontness about it. Like not
Absolutely.
Not beating around. Well, that's wrong.
Phrasing. Remember phrasing.
Well, and also education that there's a difference between sex, sexuality, and gender.
Yeah.
They're 3 completely different things.
Well, not completely different.
Well, like I
Yes,
say, like
completely
interconnected.
different.
They're all
Completely
interconnected. It's just, they
In the way that we're completely different, but we're interconnected because we're part of the same fucking species.
But you're not completely different then. You have lots of things in common, actually.
Lots of things in common.
Yeah.
Separate then.
They're separate. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, it's. I think, like I say, like I've been listening to this book, and it's really opened my eyes to a lot of this stuff that's going on with the origins of our current sexual ideas, and I don't even know how to really express it. Like there's a lot of different things going on. He's a really good writer. This Daryl Ray. I actually have him on my Facebook friends list.
Maybe you can bring him on the show.
I should, actually.
Yeah.
I should message him and get an interview.
Now, when it comes to the people that are fighting for the different sexual rights and stuff, I have no problem with people that identify as whatever they want to identify as. Even the ones that, what's the ones with where they think that they're reborn fucking animals?
Oh, fuck, I can't remember.
Whatever they're called.
Even furries.
Is that
No,
gender?
they're not furries.
No, is that gender or is that something different, though?
That's
I don't think that's gender.
That's a different kind of sexual. They call themselves X-sexual or some kind of sexual. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. But that's how they identify as a gender.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, or is it?
I don't know if that's on the gender spectrum. I don't know if that is.
Or is it a sexuality?
Yeah.
Well, sexuality would be sexual preference, right?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Fuck.
So
I don't know. You're going to start.
Semantics aside.
Yeah, you might be sliding.
Well, no, they're complete.
Into it.
Again, they're two different things. I have no problem with how anybody identifies or what their sexual preferences are, because that's nobody's business but theirs. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if they even have one. Like another friend of ours from Weyburn, we're pretty sure doesn't have a sexual drive at all. Period. And that's fine. Whatever. But when you start arguing that there's more than two sexes, that's when I get my hackles up. Because there are only two.
Because that's science, and then gender's culture.
Yeah.
So
and sexuality might even be sliding.
So
into
what about
culture.
somebody who's genetically like contains both, though.
Well, then
That's a genetic error.
Is it an error? Is that a correct term?
so what you're saying? Well, there's two sexes and
You mean
there's
hermaphrodites.
intersex, and then there's intersex.
Or whatever, intersex, whatever.
A genetic anomaly.
Anomaly, then.
More of an anomaly, yeah. But yeah, so again,
So
how do you-
error is a harsh
So
word,
how do you
but-
account for them then if there's that black and white spectrum, like black and white dichotomy? Sorry, then how do you account for them?
I just look at the sexes specifically as what is required to reproduce the species, because that's what sex is.
Well, that's once again that's science as opposed to because science is divided into there's male and female, and then okay, if we want to bring that in, there's intersexed, which is an anomaly.
It's its own thing in itself, isn't it?
It is. It is, but it's fairly rare. But generally you have male, female. But what makes man, woman?
That's different.
That's culture.
That's different. Well, not even culture, because that could be genetic. That could be something that's how you identify.
No, because even that is how you identify. Like, let's say you're biologically male, but you identify as a woman. You probably identify within the culture you're living in to those ideas that you see as being a woman. It's not the same across culture. It's not the same. What makes a woman in this culture is not the same as in another culture.
No.
It's a different thing.
That's fine.
Okay. Try to stay on topic.
I have no issue with any of that.
I think I kind of get where you're coming from, but I still think that having a black and white dichotomy to the extreme doesn't really properly define things.
But that's not to the extreme, because it's encompassing everything else on all the other parts of sexuality and identification of self and everything else. Because that's completely open. Because a lot of that's actually subjective too. It's all personal. It's all internal.
So
right?
the gender or the sex though?
Gender is completely
gender. We're not talking about gender. We're
right
talking
at
about
all. Sex.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like I'm saying
physiologically
does it work as a dichotomy?
We're binary.
But does it work as a dichotomy? Is what I'm saying, or is it more of a spectrum at times? Like I'm not saying usually, but I'm saying.
I know that there are times, and there are others, not always with humans, but with other species, there are where the female will become a male. Like there's colonies of fish.
Starfish are really prevalent.
Where they'll have a male for the colony, one male for the colony. But if that male dies, then the alpha female will become the male and can actually turn into
their hormones
the male.
Change though.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's in that sense, like in nature, there isn't a dichotomy, right? I mean, perhaps for humanity,
it's special, though.
Yeah, for our species, there is this kind of dichotomy where in order to reproduce, we need an X or we need a sperm and an egg.
Yeah.
Where versus other species they don't, but it's not. A lot of times you'll get anti-transgender people or anti-gay people who say that sex is supposed to be male and female, and that's more natural, and that's not always the case. Is just kind of what I'm thinking. Like it's. If in nature, like it's got this gray area where things can be fluid, then why can't we be fluid?
Fluid, and we are at times, like not in that transformational type way necessarily, but except for maybe intervention type stuff. But yeah, like I mean, you can have those anomalies. So
right.
I think that's the difference. It's like that's where it sometimes becomes limiting to look at it like that, like concrete, like you're this or you're this. I really don't feel like that encompasses all of humanity. Like it can't.
If you like the Brainstorm podcast and want to get more of it, you can go to patreon.com/brainstorm podcast for bonus material, early ad-free episodes, and a shout-out in the next episode. Special Brainstorm gear bonuses for different Patreon levels are available. You can get your own Brainstorm shirts, mugs, and lots more from cafepress.ca/brainstorm podcast gear. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
Yeah, it seems too limiting.
I look at it differently. Is that's to me that's biology. That's physicality, but in the grander scheme of things, that doesn't mean shit.
Well, it doesn't mean shit, right?
No.
But what does mean shit though is when we get too caught into defined definitions that actually harm people, right? Like,
because
that's the only point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
is people need to know that there's a difference.
Yeah,
it's not all the same thing.
Because the way I look at it is, you can be born male, you can be born female, you can be born intersex. There's that. Yeah. Once again, that's an anomaly. But as you're growing up in your culture, whatever that culture is, that's what makes you what is.
Well,
man or woman.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
feeds your identity.
Gender
right?
plays more into anything than
that's cultural. Sexuality kicks in for that too. Like what makes the idea? Well, we were talking about that earlier about the idea of in South America, a man is so passionate and he'll probably have many mistresses.
Oh,
within that culture, that's fine. With our culture, it's different. Like
it's looked at way
differently, and the problem and where the issue becomes is that people don't make that distinction between biology, which is, like I said, you're born male, you're born female, but they don't understand the distinction between what makes a person a man, a woman, or whatever. Like that's cultural. That's totally
gender.
different.
That's
gender.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
But even the biology can be sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Altered.
That's what I was saying with my little
thing. But in human beings, can it really be altered without scientific intervention?
But it's still altered.
But hormonally, there is still a biological influence on people. Like they don't just feel like a woman in a male's body because of culture. Like they feel like a specific kind of woman.
Well, I mean, true. There, there might be something there. But I'm just still saying what they identify. Like when they see, I'm a man, but I feel like I'm trapped in a woman's body. It's because I want to look like. I feel like I'm Julia Roberts as opposed to whatever.
Right, absolutely. So, but there's a hormonal catalyst.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe.
There's as opposed to Ben Affleck.
As opposed to Ben Affleck.
Sorry, just had to throw that in there.
As soon as I said it, I knew there was going to be a Ben Affleck joke.
Yeah,
it wasn't even Gumby. Oh, he just mic dropped.
He just gently mic dropped.
It's pretty gentle. Thanks, Gumby.
But that's gender.
So maybe having a discussion on sex actually is kind of pointless, and maybe it doesn't even need to happen anymore.
Well, there has been studies saying sexuality is it's a huge spectrum. But so on the biological elements of sex, maybe that topic even by itself is
like
I said, in my head, and I might be wrong, they're interconnected, but they're two separate things. Like there's biology, and then there's gender is a much bigger role.
Gender is like an expression, more than anything.
Right.
Whereas, sex is biological. But then again, I still argue that the dichotomy.
Gender could also be biological, though, because if again the whole man trapped in a woman's body
it's
thing,
not biological.
No. You guys were just talking about hormones.
It's an expression of Yeah, but it's not. The gender part isn't biological though. It's a cultural construct.
Yeah.
It's not an actual
But it could be biologically driven.
That's
different.
Sorry,
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm male, but inside I am I was almost going to say it.
Don't be say it.
No,
soundbite
say
coming
it,
up.
dude.
Because you guys are just gonna, I know. And you're going to keep that. That's going to become the entry. Every single show.
That'll be on the new intros.
But for people that are in that position, that is biologically driven, right?
Not entirely.
See, that's the thing is I think we're trying to argue.
Is it mental?
We're
Then it's biological.
No.
Chemical, right?
You're trying to argue things that are the way I see it is it's like the biology side of it is like 2%. Culture is a way bigger element of it. It shapes how you translate those biological urges. But
and actually, well, I agree that it's definitely a mix, but I would give the biology a little bit
Way more.
more.
I would
weight.
give it more weight, yeah, especially when you're talking about like homosexuality.
Because it's
Right.
brain chemistry.
Yeah, which comes from your
It's
hormones.
hormones. It's-
Right. So there is a biological catalyst or driver,
Yeah.
but then your culture shapes the way
how you
react to
shapes
that.
it shapes how you interpret those
Yeah,
stimuli, shall we say?
and there's
It's
infinite
a very
ways they can combine, right?
Yeah, there's no real true.
Yeah,
You know.
that's right.
Like I said, I mean, the way I look at it when I'm saying it is a dichotomy. Is like, yes, male, female. Like, say you're paleontology when they're testing the bones, male, female. You know, the DNA says that, but whether that caveman was gay, straight, whatever, that's not going to be in that. And
sure?
show up in that DNA. It's getting late, and my brain is starting to lose.
The gay gene.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like that's a thing.
The gay gene.
Yeah.
There have been people who claim it on that there is a thing, but I don't know how much weight that
I don't.
carries.
About as much as there being a straight gene.
Well, I think it's not about the genes; it's about the hormones after the fact. There have been some cases where they've adjusted the hormones in not human test subjects, but like other species test subjects, and then tested how it behaves sexually afterwards. And hormone levels in vivo can actually affect, or in utero, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Vitro?
No, in vitro is in glass.
Yeah. Sorry.
In utero is in womb. Hormone levels adjusted in utero can affect sexuality post birth.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
So there's been some work look at that, but that doesn't change whether or not somebody's born with a certain sexuality or a certain level of hormone.
That also doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, but it's basically irrelevant to the way we treat people based on their gender or sexuality.
Yeah, and maybe that's again, so then that makes it the right discussion to have. Then is not so much about the building blocks of what got you there, but
right.
But as to the right discussion is that no matter what, I mean, if you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurting anybody. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and if they're atheists, who cares? You can hurt them.
Yeah, well, we could put that argument then in the gay context of I will come kill your boyfriends,
right,
rape your boyfriend,
yeah, cut their heads off and whatnot,
all that good stuff,
all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a super, I don't know, it's a super interesting conversation to me. The idea of gender and hormones and
it's endlessly interesting.
yeah, there's so much science to be learned and science that's out there about it. Like it's,
but yeah, quite often, that's why I like the approach that the building blocks aren't as important, is because quite often then all those arguments ends up being some kind of fodder for some asshole to say some bullshit about why.
Anyway, the reason I brought it up is because Jesus is real, and you're all going to hell.
Anybody who doesn't conform to my male-female missionary sex ideals is going to hell.
It's going to hell. Have I ever told you about the theology of the body stuff that I studied?
No,
like
I don't
that's
think you
the
have.
John Paul's sex stuff. It's actually really convoluted and really difficult to read. Like I had to read like the Reader's Digest version, which was difficult. But
probably I'd need the Cole's Notes version.
It's seriously hard. It's stupid. But anyway, like it just seems like they over rationalize everything. But actually, interestingly enough, they speaking of the missionary positions and all that blah blah. This is one thing that's the one women's right thing that Catholic Church can do is that the man has to give the woman an orgasm during sex.
Really?
Yeah, like it's actually bad.
I
if you
didn't know
don't,
that was a thing.
according to theology of the body. So
the
one thing.
So if they don't, is that a sin? Because then most of them are sinning.
It might be that like one of those, what do you call the lower level
that's
sins?
right.
I don't know.
You don't quite go to hell for it, but
But it's not great. Yeah, no. In fact, they encourage that. But then there's all these other stupid rules about like you can't come anywhere but inside. You don't necessarily have to come when they're able to get pregnant, but you have to come inside either way.
But you're also only supposed to. But the whole goal of sex is for procreation.
No, they don't say that.
Oh, really?
No, they don't say that. No, that's not the goal of it. That is obviously something that it's there for.
Oh, okay.
But
I know. I can't remember. I thought it was that.
They say that this is what they say is that you have to be open to life in the act.
Oh, okay.
But definitely they still promote like the scientific method of figuring out when you're fertile or not.
Oh.
So you can still plan.
Are you bleeding?
You can still plan. No, actually, you know what? Funny enough, and I'll share this, is that my wife and I have been au naturel for 10 years, and no problems, zero. Like she doesn't use birth control.
Is that right?
Yeah, but she knows her body, she knows her cycle, and we've never gotten pregnant by accident. Like it's never been like yeah. So there's science behind this. It's not just
right.
It's not just hogwash.
I've had the good old snip, so I don't have any.
Yeah, see, I couldn't do it, but and I didn't want to force her to take birth control or anything like that. Like it's such a bad thing for your body.
Yep.
Well, anyway, back to what the religion says. It's just another Tim Minchin quote. I have all of them because I have everything he's ever said memorized, pretty much. At least on his albums. If I'm feeling randy, I'm not allowed to hand chamois, but having sex with my family, that is just fucking great. That sums up the fucking religious side of it. Yeah.
It's like it's an interesting topic to read what they actually say, but again, I mean, of course I disagree with most of it, but
yeah, well, the stuff I don't disagree with is when they use the word the. That's fine.
Love is kind of okay.
Yeah. Well, in context.
In context.
It has to be in context.
Yeah.
Well, that's as good a spot for the music break as any. The music for this episode is going to be Not Perfect by Tim Minchin. I've always loved this song and have at times played it over and over again in an attempt to get the lyrics memorized. I think it's a sincere song about accepting imperfections in ourselves as well as the world around us, with some typical Tim Minchin quirkiness. Here it is, Not Perfect, from the album Dark Side Live.
This is a song. This is my earth, and I live in it. It's 1/3 dirt and 2/3 water, and it rotates and revolves through space at rather an impressive pace, and never even messes up my hair. And here's a really weird thing: the force created by its spin is the force that stops the chaos flooding in. This is my earth, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my country, and I live in it. It's pretty big and nice to walk on, And the bloke who runs my country has built a demagoguery and taught us to be fearful and boring. And the weirdest thing is that he is conservative of politics, but really rather radical of eyebrow. This is my country, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my house, and I live in it. It's made of cracks and photographs we rented off a guy who bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy whose granddad left it to him. And the weirdest thing is that this house has locks to keep the baddies out, but they're mostly used to lock ourselves in. This is my house, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. This is my body, and I live in it. It's 29 and 12 months old. It's changed a lot since it was new. It's done stuff it wasn't built to do. I often try to fill it up with wine. And the weirdest thing about it is I spend so much time hating it, but it never says a bad word about me. This is my body, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my brain, and I live in it. It's made of love and bad song lyrics. It's tucked away behind my eyes, where all my fucked up thoughts can hide. 'Cause God forbid I hurt somebody. And the weirdest thing about a mind is that every answer that you find is the basis of a brand new cliche. This is my brain, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. I'm not quite sure I've worked out how to work it. It's not perfect, but it's mine.
The other analogy they make in that theology, the body stuff, is all about like the womb being the human church, or something like that. So it's like basically the most holy act you can do
Here's the steeple and
is have sex.
here's the
sexually.
steeple and let in all the people.
Yeah, like
share and share.
It's a weird, interesting analogy, but it's like again, like I mean, well, whatever, like
yeah.
Says the church that has basically a huge erect penis as their symbol.
Yeah.
The steeple.
Whoops.
And many of their members have erect penises.
All the time.
All the time for little boys.
Because they've been suppressing their sexual drives for their whole lives.
Yeah. Is there any studies on like prevalence of pedophilia within the church as opposed to regular society? Like, is that something?
I think there is some work being done. And it's more about not necessarily within the clergy, but within groups of people who suppress their sexual urges.
Right.
I think that'd be an interesting.
Yeah.
And I can't say for sure what the results are, but I'm expecting it to show that.
What do you do with these dudes? Like, obviously you can't let them have sex with kids, but at the same time, it's like there's so many of them.
Shoot them.
No, that's not the answer.
There was
actually, and that's the pussification of the world right there.
No, that isn't the answer.
No. If a grown man is fucking a child, you kill that motherfucker.
So you
Done.
But let's say it's something that's beyond somebody's control, though. In some ways, let's say it is. Like, let's say it's something you're born into. I don't know. I don't know is what I'm saying.
Well, okay. So pedophilia is something you're born into.
Yeah.
It's a sexual drive, just like straight or gay or attraction to anything else. A person who has sex with children is a person who's acting on those
impulses,
feelings.
Unlike the honest pedophile, there was that guy that wrote a huge paper, and he was saying, I'm a pedophile. I have never acted on it. I never will.
Right. It's as, in a sense, a person who has sex with a child is the same as a rapist, right? Like they
are rapists.
Yeah, they're rapists. Yeah. Exactly. Those of us like who are straight or gay or whatever, we only have sex with people who consent.
Yeah.
Except for those who rape.
Exactly.
So, in a sense, we'd have to punish pedophiles the same way
you'd have to kill everybody who has.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'd have to punish rapists and pedophiles in exactly the same manner.
Exactly the same manner. I agree. And that's the terrible slippery slope. Terrible.
I agree with that to an extent, but there is still a huge difference between an adult and a child. And the biggest difference is the child's still formative. Yeah, it's going to fuck an adult up if they get raped. Not to the extent that it would a child.
But there's also something to be said about the big deal that society makes of a child being molested in that way. A child doesn't know necessarily that what they've experienced is wrong.
It was kind of accepted in ancient Greece.
Yeah, societies exactly. But still accepted.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay. Don't mistake what I'm saying.
No, we know it's not okay.
I'm just saying
we know
that children don't know that it's wrong, and the way we treat it is how they react. So they learn from that they've been traumatized. If that makes any sense.
So is it better to learn as a child that you've been traumatized, or have that shit suppressed?
Well,
until you're 40.
In a very real sense, it isn't suppressed because it's simple ignorance. Ignorance isn't a suppression of knowledge.
Up until what point? At what age?
At some point, they go, well, that wasn't normal. Okay, but beyond that, I've had a normal sexual growth. A normal growth of person and whatnot. I mean, obviously, you want to stop that. You don't want to continue the molestation, but it's entirely possible that a child, if not traumatized by society, but who is molested, could grow into a fully realized sexually healthy person.
Well, sure,
and they do
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So. I mean, like the whole myth that if you're molested as a child, you're going to molest other. That's
right,
not true.
right.
It's like if you were beaten as a kid, you're going to beat your kid.
Yeah, it's not true.
No, but that's not the point. The point is the predator, not the prey.
Yeah, and then you get down to you get to the question of whether we should be, is justice about punishment, or is it about prevention, or is it about rehabilitation?
Yeah,
what are we trying to accomplish?
It's about all of the above.
Okay, so
it's obviously situational.
Well, when you murder somebody, it's actually not about rehabilitation at all, though. It's just about punishment.
Yeah,
and prevention. And prevention.
Yeah.
There's no rehab in that. Well, maybe their soul goes to it.
But again, can you rehabilitate a gay person?
I think in large part,
you can't rehabilitate a pedophile.
No, you can't. Yeah, no, they still have those urges all the time,
no matter what.
But
the fact that they've already been willing to act on it, they already don't accept another human being's rights.
So because somebody can't be rehabilitated, and we have to kill them, like is that the thing though? Like what about somebody with a mental health issue who harms others and can't be rehabilitated entirely? Do we kill them just because of that?
If you have a mental health issue, you might have trouble making a choice. That's a good chunk of mental health.
But I mean,
you might not know the choice you're making.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, choice is a different topic altogether because
it is. Into free will and all that bullshit.
That gets too complicated.
But no.
But assuming the
person is just
choice is a thing.
Yeah. Assuming the person that took a 5-year-old and bent him over the table and ripped him open, knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
What do you do with him?
Assume the person who took all of our money and scammed us on the stock market and did all these things and hurt this many people. Do you kill them?
No, because if you scam me on the stock market,
why is one crime more?
Because I have the ability to defend my money. I can make it. No. If you're scamming me on the stock market, I made the choice to trust you.
No, but let's just.
A 5-year-old.
What I'm trying to get at, though, the whole point is, it's like, why is one crime worthy of death and another crime not?
Because
there has to be a distinction.
Because comes back to
we are physiologically programmed to defend our young.
Well,
that's a biological imperative.
No.
Yes.
That's
continuation of species.
That's a thing, but
yes, to a certain extent, but
that doesn't mean that our response is a well-reasoned response.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I would kill anybody who hurt my child.
Right.
But that doesn't make it the right way to do things. Right? Like I know that that's not necessarily the right way to do things in a societal way.
Yeah, and that's where I mean, yeah, I know the convenient answer is just kill people who are inconvenient. Like that's seriously.
No, we're not talking about inconvenient.
But they are inconvenient.
No.
Are they convenient?
It's not as simple as inconvenient. You know what's inconvenient? The guy that beats me up for my wallet. That's inconvenient. The guy that stole my car. The guy that makes a kid
What if the guy who beat you up for your wallet gave you a brain injury?
That's inconvenient.
Is that just inconvenient? like I'm saying,
that's pretty severe.
It's pretty severe. Because I've seen that happen lots. Working with the people I work with.
I don't know the answer to this.
Because I mean, the thing is, I think the reaction is part of, as you were saying earlier, that in our society, we have put such a taboo on sex. That is what shapes
this. Yeah.
This isn't about taboo.
Connection. This is a good connection.
This is about fucking babies. That's completely different than a taboo.
No, but that's not what he's getting at. That's not what he's getting at, though.
No. Because you have put because we make sex such a big deal that we see this, and I'm not condoning it whatsoever, but we take that act of pedophilia and the most heinous thing, right? You were just pounding the table saying that guy has to be fucking killed, but that's because we make sex such a taboo. This is why it's this unconscionable. That is your fucking red line. Whereas the stock market, whatever, getting beat in the head, whatever, but that is your red line. But that's because we have made sex such a taboo that's where it comes from.
If you take a 5-year-old kid and beat the shit out of him with your fists, you should die. Same thing. There's no difference. The person is completely defenseless, and you're choosing to harm somebody that's completely defenseless.
So
the difference is between those two things is the pedophile. It's something ingrained in him that he can't help. Sure, but he can help whether he acts on it or not.
Well, again, and then now it gets complicated.
Because we are
now it gets complicated.
It's getting really late. Fuck! I just realized
This is a good discussion, though.
It is a good discussion. We
so.
should have had it earlier, and I just realized I have to work in like fucking 6 hours.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
but is that you're almost the irony of it is almost as you're going fucking biblical in an atheist podcast. Is that yes, you're making this distinction between defending your young and this and that and the other thing, and this guy should fucking die and that guy should fucking die. But where is the and where Dave is defending is that he's trying to be a humanist of it, where it's like we're supposed to be dealing with higher morality, and that's just it. Is making this distinction of who should die, who can be rehabbed, and whatever else. This is a base level argument to a higher level morality. And it's such a slippery slope, and it's too fucking late to get into this argument.
I think it's a really dangerous thing. I mean, as much as I agree, it's completely wrong what they've done. I have no disagreement with that whatsoever. I still think that it's like if that's how justice plays out, there's just too many gray areas where people can suddenly, well, why not this person then too? Well, why not this one? Like it's just like this is why I really respect Canada's lack of the death penalty. I really do because I feel like it avoids all those pitfalls where like, oh, suddenly we can kill this person now too. Oh,
I mean, it's kind of a stretch, and it's a bit of hyperbole. But when you're starting to open that kind of category, then why are we saying ISIS is such a terrible thing? Because to them. I saw the look, and you're not following my thing. But you're saying,
bring it on,
because their Sharia law, what they're forcing is this cut and dry. To them, these are their red lines.
These are the lines. Yeah.
These are their red lines, and boom, you're a thief. Boom, off with your hand. You commit whatever sins. I can't think of what they are, but boom, off with your head. You're gay, off the fucking top of the building. Yeah. And this is where it is a very gray area, but that's where that's that slippery slope. Like when you're starting to deal with you're fucking dead, off with a slap of the wrist. It's a slippery slope. I don't have the answers.
Obviously, ISIS is further in the spectrum.
They're the fucking
they're further down that slope.
They're the most extreme I can think of.
Yeah,
but. Yeah. This is what I'm meaning by a slippery slope, even though I saw the crossed eyes. I mean, I don't think it's a false equivalency, but it's kind of an exaggeration to make my point.
Sometimes the slippery slope is appropriate, and sometimes it's a logical fallacy.
Okay, just a quick break to talk about our sponsor, Audible.com. Audible.com is offering listeners of Brainstorm a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial membership. Membership gives you reduced prices on over 150,000 titles for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, and membership costs $14.95 a month after the first free month. I've been listening to lots of books lately. I listened to Attack of the Theocrats by Sean Faircloth, Sex and God by Dr. Daryl Ray, Heretic by Ayaan Hirsi Ali, and I downloaded 3 new ones just the other day. If you're a gold member, you can get 3 books for around $35, and I've done that a few times now. For your 30-day free trial membership and free audiobook download, go to audibletrial.com/brainstorm. It's audibletrial.com/brainstorm. I'd also like to tell you about reasonistproducts.com. T-shirts and hoodies with science, reason, and atheist themes. They've got great prices and offer a buy one, get one free with the coupon code BRAINSTORM. One lucky listener can get a free t-shirt by tweeting the word brainstorm to the Reasonist Products Twitter account. That's at Reasonist, PRDCTS. Go check out their website, reasonusproducts.com.
So at what point then do we say, you know what? Yeah, this guy went and raped 50 kids or 2 kids or 4 kids, but, you know, go to your room.
It's
Nobody's
not,
saying that,
it's
though.
Not
No
like
one's saying that. It's just that.
Yeah.
In theory, what happens is you then go. You shouldn't, because according to our laws, that's wrong. You get twinked. You go to trial, and hopefully you're put away for a very long fucking time.
Hopefully, unless there's
Well,
fucking all sorts of shit.
and
that can go
there
wrong.
are there,
You know, so
there's actually also like a rehabilitation type thing that's going on right now that there's a lot of research on that is actually working. It has very low recidivism in that group, and it's a very simple philosophy. You literally put a group of accountability community members around one of these offenders in the community, and they have suddenly they have people who are like a part of their existence, and whoa, look, recidivism suddenly decreases to like 5% or 6% or something stupid like that. It's like, duh, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, do there always have to be extreme actions to solve these problems? Like, probably not, you know?
My issue on that is if there isn't an extreme action or reaction, then where's the what's stopping people from doing it? I know that's a really stupid argument for a lot of things.
Well, no,
but
in a sense,
what's to stop?
Well, if
what's to stop
God
it-
isn't going to send you to hell for what you do, what's to stop you from doing it? It's the same argument. It's the same argument.
Well, no,
It is,
it's not
but
the
it
same
isn't,
argument because
right?
this is real.
Because
right, but
This is, hey, pedophile Jim, my buddy, fucked a kid. Actually, he fucked 4. And
yes, but
and now he's just surrounded by community members, and he
but
gets
you know
to go
what?
along. So
those guys, they're not doing it out in the open.
no, but they still hit the news.
And
so
the
the
thing
guy
is-
at home goes, well, shit. Yeah, this guy got caught, but there's no real major repercussions.
But what do we do with other rapists? Like, I think,
Yeah,
I know.
I think that's where we have to go with this. Like,
do we kill them?
yeah, like we have to look at, well, what do we do with rapists? Well, we put them in jail, sometimes for a very, very long time until they're very old people, and then we put them out in society and try to give them a decent support system so they don't do it again. And I think that's ultimately all we can do, because I'm against murder, I guess. It's like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we.
and sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
I'm just trying to think out loud. Like, when you deal with like child rape and grown-up rape, I think, yeah, there's a difference there, but it's hard to draw a line where you say, okay, the law needs to be in this spot. And so there's more, you can treat them more equally than you can say rape and murder, or rape and a financial crime. You know, like rape and child rape are pretty similar. So how do you treat rapists? We don't murder them. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. You know, in an ideal world,
If you did, there'd be less of them. and again, I am not pro death penalty by any means.
but you are.
No.
But what you just said is.
Well, it's just like
Play
you guys,
back the tape.
You guys
Play back the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should be killed. Right? That doesn't mean I'm pro death penalty specifically. I just think
That's the same. Like, I'm anti.
I'm not pro child rape, but these people can be helped and whatever, right? That it's kind of the same parallel of an argument. I'm not pro death penalty, but something severe enough to make it unthinkable. Something that should already be unthinkable should have repercussions that make it unthinkable.
Well, I think it's just
Again-
that argument of, and it's come up a million times, is that, you know, you got caught with a baggie of dope, you go away for 10 years. This guy killed a guy, he gets 3 years, you know, plus
Right,
time off
right.
for good behavior. You know, this one raped a kid, he gets 2 years. You know, it's a matter of that scale. It seems so off that sometimes it doesn't seem fair. Like, this is just it, is where when is punishment enough for
Well,
depending
and
on the crime, right?
That's what that's what my thought is. Like, where is justice? Right?
I don't know. I have no idea what the fucking
what is the
answer
purpose of justice? Then?
Where is justice? Are we punishing, rehabilitating, or preventing? And ultimately, I think the whole goal of the justice system needs to be prevention of harm. So if we can stop somebody from doing it again without killing them, then I think that's where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
This is kind of adding to my point, and this is like a future thing. But I mean, if there was ever an intervention and they could find a way to actually eliminate that element of somebody's mind, like pedophilia, and forcibly do that, I would not be against that. I think
that's physiological mental rape, though, in a sense.
Sort of.
You're rewriting what that person's psyche is.
Yeah, and I know that's a slippery slope as well, and it probably opened up a whole can of worms. But I think I would be more for that than for the actual murder part itself. I think. Then again, I don't know. There could be other.
I think if you can, whatever we can do to reduce the amount of suffering and death that we cause is the way to go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and again, like I know it's a tough topic.
Well, and there's a lot of other things that come into play, like people that get sentenced for something they didn't commit.
There you go, and that's
one of the biggest reasons we don't have capital punishment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is speaking from somebody who, my mom was really well acquainted with David Milgaard. Because he worked for the same company as my mom. Yeah, he got picked up. My mom worked with the same magazine company. Wow. Right. And the good thing about that company is Dave Milgaard was just a normal salesman, right? Door to door, trying to get people to buy magazines. And the magazine company, like the company that sold the magazine, covered his expenses all the way through.
Wow.
Like all the legal fees. And then they got all their money back at the end anyway. But
right, it's. I've known you probably 20 years,
20-some years,
20-some years, and I did not know that about your mom.
There's a lot of other things I know about your mom.
You're a sad person. Because Gumby's mom ain't got it going on.
I don't know.
You've never obviously met my mom.
See, when
intentional crime still requires intentional repercussions.
I wish we had Mike here for this one, because when it comes to the idea of justice, that's philosophy.
Yeah,
and what we should be doing with that's philosophy. And,
it's so philosophy. Yeah,
and he's far more versed in this than I am.
I think as far as punishable offenses and stuff, though, rape and murder are the two most heinous things you could do to a person.
And honestly, I think rape is actually worse.
Yeah.
But that could totally be my own bias.
Well, they both destroy.
Yeah. I do like this.
Being alive is awesome, though.
Being alive is pretty awesome.
I do like this point Renee brings up, though, too, that, again, connecting the sexuality stigmas in our society to how we react to sexual crime.
Right.
It's very connected, I think.
Well, and my freak out about murdering the person, it's not just about raping a kid. It's if you put your foot through their face, if anything like that.
Yeah.
Right? If you force feed your kids salt until they die, you don't deserve to live.
Yeah.
Now, whether we kill you or not, that's different.
Well,
but you don't deserve to live.
I often find myself emotionally feeling the exact same way about people who choose prayer over medicine. I feel the exact same way. You just denied your child's life-saving medicine.
Killed your kid.
You just killed your kid. Yeah. And I feel very viscerally like they need to die, but I know that that's not a very well-reasoned response.
And I think with us, it's because we still have kids that are young.
Possibly.
And, well, with me, because Loki is very trusting. He's very open. He's not afraid of anything. He's really susceptible.
Right.
Like last week, one of the other kids, and he won't say who it is, put shit in his boot.
Ooh. Oh, jeez.
And Loki won't say who it was. He does.
And all you want to do is beat the shit out of a 6-year-old kid.
No. No.
And then we'll kill you.
I want to beat the shit out of whoever was responsible at the daycare. The person was supposed to be watching the kids, right?
I'd want to beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're supposed to react to that.
There's even-handed justice. Everyone gets an ass whooping.
That's just it. Like when something that happens to your kid happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
want to hurt everybody.
It's an emotional response.
Exactly.
But it's funny because Loki has a scar almost identical to mine because he's a klutz. Because it's genetic. He was playing at the Lego table at daycare, and he got up and fell, and he hit the corner of his head. And by the time we got him home, it'd been hours. So stitches were out of the question anyway, because you only have a X number of hours in a window to get stitches. It didn't look that bad. Now he's got a scar for the rest of his life. And then a couple days ago, he was playing on a teeter-totter, and he jumped off, and he took the teeter to his chin, and then his lower lip, and then his gum.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Oof. Shit like that doesn't piss me off.
It's just an accident.
That's an accident. That's far more damaging to him than somebody putting shit in his food. And my reaction to that was fucking murderous rage.
Yeah, but actually, I can understand that.
Intent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can understand that.
Intent, yeah.
Somebody intentionally did something against my son. Against a child, right?
So what's the reaction then when your son does that to somebody else? Like, let's just say if it did happen. Something like
that would never happen. My kid's an angel.
My son was involved in what could only be classified as a group beating up of another child.
I remember that.
Oh, terrible.
And I was quite upset.
Oh, God, yeah.
He had to go to his mother's that day, though. So I picked him up, and I had a long discussion, and he lost all kinds of privileges, and he got grounded the next time he came to my house. And then he had to go to his mom's and be punished there. So, I mean,
so we have somebody that's hurt somebody else, and we automatically punish.
Well, it's a deterrent, right?
Sure.
At a young age, I'm trying to deter him from doing it again.
So it's killing somebody.
I would do something very similar. And I know it's going to happen with Loki because he doesn't realize that he's going to be a big kid. He's the biggest kid anywhere he goes. And I'll have to talk with him. I'll say, you can't be hurting people. Would you like it if somebody hurt you? No. Then why'd you hurt this person? Because they took my toy. Well, that violence isn't the solution. So what we're going to do, we're going to go talk to the person you hurt and his mom and dad.
Yeah. And you have to apologize.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Explain why you didn't.
I'm not going to say that because a forced apology isn't an apology.
Well,
you explain why it was wrong, and you let them figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's like I say, like Cyric. He did have to call because it was another friend of his that got beat up, and I don't understand why they were all beating him up, and I don't understand all the situation. But so he had to call his friend and say what he did was wrong, and he had to apologize because he seemed to understand that what he was doing had done was wrong, and but that's all we can do as parents, right? Is try to teach them that what they're doing is wrong. And I wouldn't blame the other kid's dad if he wanted to hurt everybody.
Oh, no.
I'm glad that he didn't. I'm glad that I didn't have to kick his ass.
Hopefully.
Well, that's real cocky. I don't know. You haven't been going to the gym lately. You might have to
getting pretty fat.
Jeez, man.
But yeah, I'm glad that he didn't react that way, and that we could deal with it reasonably. And I hope that I would have the same reaction, or at least be able to curb that initial response well enough to deal with it as a rational person.
Well, when I found crap in Loki's boot, it was in the morning. We were getting ready for daycare, and I can't remember why, but he thought there was like a stick or something in the heel of his boot. So I just flipped his boot upside down to feel things. So I put my hand in it and covered it with shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, then I took his boot apart and washed it.
Right.
You're going to do that. And I just turned to him and said, you know what? It's Tuesday. I'm off today. you're not going to daycare or school.
You just hang out at home.
You're going to sit at home. I'm going to watch my TV. You know, because he was involved. He was partially responsible for what happened.
Okay.
And he wasn't willing to tell me.
Oh.
Right? So the fact that he couldn't tell me what was going on is punishable.
Yeah.
Because I want to protect him, and he's not helping me to do that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, which it's really tough not to get to.
Oh, I bet.
to figure out how to handle the situation.
Yeah. Yep, I bet. I bet.
Yeah, I ran a
and I do use that it's wrong because I said so. Or no, not wrong. Why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
But that's when he asked why about the same thing, like for the 30th time in a row, after I've explained it 20.
Say what I said prior.
Because I said
what
so.
I said
Just
prior.
leave it.
Refer to my previous explanation.
Refer to previous point. Yeah. Rewind tape.
Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, I try not to fault anybody's parenting style because I am not the epic perfect parent. Like,
you sure?
Well,
Yeah.
everybody's different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty awesome.
I'm sure you are. Yeah, I'm sure you are.
You named your kid Nacho.
Ignacio. He's going to be the coolest kid on the block. Or get bullied really bad. I'm not sure.
Well, he'll either be cool or tough.
Yeah.
Not tough as in able to fight, but able to take a beating.
Able to take a beating.
Yeah.
That's also important.
He seems like a cool kid, actually.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah,
he's all right.
It's kind of a
we're gonna
dick
keep him for now,
sometimes,
but
but he's
whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are kids.
You know, he could win in a Pokemon fight. He's good at that.
Nice.
That's kind of cool now. When he's 30,
I have some friends.
I was about to say, I know people that...
Yeah.
Yeah, then we grow up and do real things like Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah. It's all.
Yeah.
As long as he evolves. As long as he evolves.
Yeah.
Pokemon evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
there's
evolve.
Pokemon evolution.
they evolve. Pokevolve.
Pokeball.
No, that wasn't Pokevolve.
I don't know.
That's
that's Digivolve, maybe?
Digivolve.
That's right.
I refuse to
That's
get
right.
dragged down this particular rabbit hole.
Although
okay.
Pokemon do evolve.
We're kind of immune because we're subjugated to it all the time.
But like, I think it's a really misnomer calling it evolution because it's not really evolution.
No, it's not change over time,
it's
is
not.
it?
It's like instantaneous.
Yeah, that's
like,
right. It's like, okay, well, we've reached level whatever. and-
It's Christian evolution.
I was just about to say it's creationism.
That's right. It's creationism. Nice.
Damn Pokemon.
Damn you, Pokemon.
Teaching my kids terrible things.
No, not creationism. The Christian view of evolution.
Right. Totally.
Yes.
Instant and given to, yeah.
Pseudoscience.
Crocoduck.
Yeah, total
Whatever.
pseudoscience.
Yeah. You do not understand science.
Yeah. And then they found a crocoduck.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait a
Joke's
second.
on you.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is my earth, and it's fine. It's where I spend the
All right. Finally, that's the end of this recording session. I really wanted to get all 3 parts out because I thought we really covered a lot of ground, and this was a really good recording session. As a whole, it was one of my favorites that we've done in the year and a half that we've been doing this podcast. I've got a couple of podcast shout-outs for this episode because of the types of topics we covered. I talked earlier in the episode about Dr. Darrell Ray and his book, Sex and God, which is available through Audible. So if you go to www.audibletrial.com/brainstorm, you can get his book, Sex and God, on there. But anyway, Dr. Darrell Ray's podcast is called Secular Sexuality, and it has tons of very good information and some really open discussions about sex. Another really good podcast for issues around gender, trans issues, and pretty much any LGBT issue is the Gaytheist Manifesto. The host, Callie, is a really amazing person, and she has a great perspective that I agree with a lot of the time. I've learned a lot from her show and from following her on Facebook. Lastly, I just wanted to mention a specific episode of Skeptoid. Everyone who listens to us probably already listens to Skeptoid. But in episode 463, the guest host was Allison Hudson, and she busts a bunch of myths about transgender people. I will be posting the relevant links in the show notes eventually on brainstormblog.net. I will get them done, I swear. If you want to keep up to date with the show, come on over and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/brainstormpodcast or follow us on Twitter at brainstormpod. This show was recorded in Roman Empire Studios with intro music provided by Dave Roman. For ad-free episodes and extra content, keep an eye on our Patreon feed. Just go to patreon.com/brainstormpodcast and become a patron for just $1 an episode. I'll produce ad-free episodes when we reach 5, and any new patrons will get a shout-out in the next episode. And when we reach 10, I'll go back and start producing bonus content. As usual, I'll mention that we're only doing one episode a month. We're only recording one episode a month. I'm putting out as many as I can. But if we manage to reach $100 an episode, then we can go back to recording every 2 weeks. And maybe I can start putting them out even more consistently. If you can't afford to help us out on Patreon, go to iTunes or Stitcher and give us a rating and review. You can go and buy Brainstorm gear from cafepress.ca/brainstormpodcastgear, or just go to our website and click on the Cafe Press link. And remember to send us pics of you wearing your Brainstorm gear, and we'll throw them up on the listener page. Again, I'm going to mention the non-conference in Kitchener, Ontario. Tickets are available at www.thenon-conference.com, and it's happening on August 21st. With speakers like Lawrence Krauss, Armin Navabi, Christina Shelska, and Stephanie Gatormson. It's sure to be well worth the price of admission and travel. I'll post the link to the Facebook event page in the show notes, hopefully before it's sold out. And lastly, go check out the Atheist and Skeptic Podcast's Facebook page to keep up with all your favorite Atheist and Skeptic podcasts. That's facebook.com/Atheist Skeptic Podcasts, all one word. And we want to know what you love and hate about the show. So if you've got any comments, criticisms, praise, accolades, or corrections, mail us at mail@brainstormblog.net or go to the website, brainstormblog.net, and click the contact tab. We will respond to your email. That's it for now, and thanks for listening, and have a good one.
This is my brain, and I live in it. It's made of love and bad song lyrics. It's tucked away behind my eyes, where all my fucked up thoughts can hide. 'Cause God forbid I hurt somebody. And the weirdest thing about a mind is that every answer that you find is the basis of a brand new cliche. This is my brain, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. I'm not quite sure I've worked out how to work it. It's not perfect, but it's mine.
Yeah, why can't we just someone here?
No. Raz is falling asleep.
Oh, Raz is falling asleep.
Sorry. He's had a long day.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man.
Talking about sex usually makes him fall asleep.
Makes him dozy.
Oh, shit.
We just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interaction sometimes with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel, any guests, or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.